We are here for our weekly board session. It's 9 a.m. We're in the center hearing room at 555 Court Street, Northeast in Salem. And as always, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have anyone signed up for public comment? Brenda is out of the room. I think the answer is no. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
Put public comment farther down on the agenda, but yes, there is.
There is some public comment.
I guess we're doing proclamations.
We're going to do it afterwards.
We're going to do that afterwards? Okay. So first off, we have to add a few things to our agenda.
Mr. Chair, I will make a motion to add 2 items to the consent agenda. One, under legal counsel, to approve an order of a settlement of a litigation case, and 2, under public works, to approve incoming funds grant agreement with the Oregon Department of Administration Services, an amount of $950,000 for Marion County Radio Communications Project.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion passes. Okay, so now we have 2 proclamations and a presentation before public comment. So those of you who have signed up for public comment, we're happy you're here. We're just going to run through a few proclamations and a presentation, and then we'll open it up for public comment. No, that's all right.
I
No,
think it'll be a
yeah.
little bit lengthy.
Okay, so first up, we're going to consider approval of proclamation declaring October 15th through the 21st, 2023 as National Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Week in Marion County. And Ann Kelly is back again this year, and Denise Bowles is here. So if you all would come, and you can bring up a chair if you'd like to. Oh, there's enough chairs? Okay, great. If you could introduce yourself for the record and tell us about this wonderful initiative.
Good morning, commissioners and staff. It's an honor to be here today again, year after year. My name is Ann Kelly. I'm the founder and director of the Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Project, a nonprofit education organization. And this being our week, I first want to introduce, it's my honor and with great gratitude, please welcome Denise Bowles, Salem Health Community Relations.
Is this on? If it's green, then if the light's green, then it's on.
Okay,
Just close.
perfect.
Just pull it close to your face.
All right. Well, thank you, Ann. Thank you for having me. My name is Denise Bowles. I'm with Salem Health and Hospital Systems. And I'm here we are delighted to be able to partner with Ann Kelly and Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting this year. And as a health system, we are very committed to nonviolence for our patients and for our staff. I just wanted to run through a few things and why we are doing this with Ann this year. And it's just been really fun to work together. But did you know that healthcare workers are 4 times more likely to experience violence than any other work industry? 44% of nurses reported experiencing physical violence, and 68% reported experiencing verbal abuse during the COVID-19 pandemic. Workplace violence has severe consequences for the entire healthcare system. Not only does violence cause physical and psychological injury for healthcare workers, workplace violence and intimidation make it more difficult for nurses, doctors, and other clinical staff to provide quality patient care. At Salem Health, we have a strong commitment to the principles around harmful words and actions, which partner very well with the Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting project in our community. We operate under the principle that no patient, employee, or provider harm is acceptable to us. And it's been a highlighted and more intense focus this year in light of a lot of things that are happening in the health systems and in our communities and around the world. So we want to support this project, but also to invite you to join with us at the Salem Health Community in the lobby of Building D at noon next Tuesday, October 17th, to take the Purple Hands Pledge as a community. We will have a short programming featuring our very own Marion County District Attorney, Paige Clarkson, and Salem Health CEO, Cheryl Nestor-Wolf, and then we'll take the pledge together. As a continued commitment to nonviolence, you'll have the opportunity to trace your hand and take a copy of your pledge for display in your home or workplace as a reminder to stop and think about our words and our actions, because we can all do something to make our world a bit safer. Thanks.
Thank you, Denise, and what an incredible opportunity to go all the way back where we started at Salem Hospital and our Salem Kaiser Public Schools. It is an honor to be here again today to bring you good news about the one thing we can all do to help stop hurting ourselves and each other with words and actions. The Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Project, our nonprofit organization, began here in Salem with our hospital, as I've said, and the Salem Kaiser Public Schools in 1997, 26 years ago. Some of you here may have learned the pledge in school or have seen our pledge banners and posters and Purple Hands pledges in our schools, our logo, decals on business windows, signs around the emergency department, the family birth center, and other places around the hospital system. We believe education is the light in the darkness and the voice that breaks the silence. Our way of standing up to all forms of abuse is to take our 14-word Purple Hands pledge to heart. It's on the screen. I will not use my hands or my words for hurting myself or others. These 14 words teach empathy, self-control, respect for self and others, and accountability for our words and actions that either help or hurt. Ours is a public health approach to a public health crisis, the dramatic rise in all forms of abuse, domestic and family violence, child abuse, gun violence, bullying, self-harm, and suicide, demonstrates the need to educate at the earliest ages that anger is a feeling, abuse and violence is always a choice. Why is the hand purple? The hand is not black, it's not white, it's not brown, it's purple. A purple hand with a red heart embedded in the palm represents all people as one, is inclusive regardless of skin color, age, gender, sexual orientation, race, nationality, or religion. We are all different on the outside. The color purple is our national color used to honor and remember victims and survivors of abuse and violence. Those who are no longer with us, victims of suicide and murder, and those who are suffering in silence, afraid to ask for help. Purple is our national color to recognize Domestic Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. Why is a heart in the middle of the palm? The red heart in the palm of the hand serves to represent when you hurt yourself or another person or someone hurts you with words or by actions. It hurts deep inside. It hurts your heart. It hurts your spirit. We are all alike on the inside. This is how we teach empathy. Repetition is how we learn everything. How to read, write, ride a bike. This is not a one-time thing. Practice makes permanent, not perfect. When we forget, and we will, as imperfect human beings, take it again and aspire to live by it. Take this pledge with your family, all families, every family. Trace your hand on purple paper, sign your name in your handprint, and put it in a prominent place in your home. Lead the way for your family, friends, and coworkers to take these 14 words to heart. If your kids are learning the Purple Hands Pledge in school, thank their teachers. Thank their counselors, their principals, whoever is leading them to learn this day after day, year after year. Why do we teach the Purple Hands Pledge? Here's why. Because we are all valuable, irreplaceable human beings. Taking this 14-word pledge to heart is for the health and well-being of our community. That is what our healthcare professionals do here every single day and night, 24/7, 365 days a year. I want to ask you to please now listen to Lauren Studer. She was here as a South Salem High School student many years ago. I think it was 2017. And she can't be here today, so I've asked her to send us a minute and a half video. So here's Lauren Studer.
Hi, my name is Lauren Studer. I am a living testimony to the impact and the importance of the Hands and Words Pledge. I was born and raised in the Salem-Keizer School District and learned about the pledge all throughout my schooling. From a young age, I remember learning about the good that my words can do, but I also was taught about the harm that my words can do and the impact that it can have on others, and that it is never okay to use my words to harm others. This started conversations about how we can better express ourselves and in what ways we can try and compromise with others and let them know that they hurt us. It's so important to do this so that people know when to get help because someone's not treating them appropriately. By stating this pledge, these 14 words, we let the people around us know that we don't support the abuse that they might be experiencing. This pledge can be used at all ages, from preschoolers to nursing homes. It's important to remind us what we deserve and how we should be treating others. Whether it's self-harm or harming others, it's never okay. At South Salem High School, this impact is evident. They now have a mental health awareness program that is nationally recognized for suicide prevention that was founded alongside the Hands and Words Pledge. For me, in high school, these 14 words saved my life. How many others can say the same? From the testimonies, we know countless others. How many more will it save?
Thank you, Lauren. She is
Hi.
She is in graduate school now, earning and working toward a doctorate in physical therapy. So she's one voice of countless others. So I wanted to leave you with a quote written by Dolly Parton. Everybody knows Dolly, right? Butterflies are, quote, butterflies are colorful and bright and gentle and have no way to harm you. I love her simple and beautiful description of how she sees butterflies. Our Purple Hands pledges, displayed in schools, homes, and community organizations, are just like butterflies. Colorful, bright, and gentle, and have no way to harm you. Just seeing them like butterflies makes people happy. Thank you from my heart. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Ariana, who works with me all the time. And please come and join us all next Tuesday at Salem Hospital at this incredible community-wide event. And log on to our website if you want to be inspired to continue this 26-year journey. We have to do this for our kids, grandkids, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, we now have a proclamation here. Do we want to take a motion to read this proclamation?
Yeah, I move to approve a proclamation declaring October 15th to the 21st, 2023 is National Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Week in Marion County.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? The only thing I would say is at the end of this proclamation, we actually say the pledge. So what I'll do is at the end, I'll stop and ask everybody to join us. How does that sound? Does that sound
Thank you,
good?
yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. All All right, who wants to kick us off?
All right. In the matter of proclaiming October 15th to the 21st, 2023 as National Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Week in Marion County. Whereas a community without abuse, violence, and suicide is a dream we all share. And whereas any form of mistreatment of another is abuse, and all people have the moral and legal right to live free of abuse and violence. And whereas each of us must come to understand that it is within our personal power to choose not to abuse and violence, to resolve conflict, and
whereas we recognize and respect for ourselves and others is key to developing healthy relationships at every age and in all circumstances. And whereas the principle of nonviolent resolution of conflict must be taught to our children and practiced within each of our families. And whereas verbal and emotional abuse can be just as damaging as physical violence to a person's self-worth, creating scars that are carried for the rest of his or her life. And whereas verbal abuse, such as name-calling, insulting, belittling, frequently escalates into simple force like pushing, grabbing, and slapping, and the worst scenario is escalating to rage, serious violence, and even murder. And
whereas self-harm and suicide must be acknowledged as a serious public health crisis, as the number of victims continues to escalate in children, teens, and adults. And whereas we, the Commissioners of Marion County, together with the communities around the country and overseas, recognize that Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Project's Purple Hands Pledge is an effective tool in abuse, violence, and suicide prevention education. Now, therefore, the Marion County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the week of October 15th through the 21st, 2023, to be the 26th Annual National Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Week in Marion County. And I'd ask and encourage all citizens of Marion County to join hands and hearts to unite as a family and a community to pledge both publicly and privately. Please raise your hands with me. I will not use my hands or my words for hurting myself or others. Dated this 11th day of October, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We want to take a picture, so if you'll stay, and if the DA and the sheriff could come up and join us.
Mr. Chair, I've been wearing this bracelet since 2014, and
It's looking a little faded. It's a little faded there,
actually,
Commissioner.
this is probably my third one because I think I've given two of them away, one in Belize and one in Indonesia. But thank you for the new one. I don't know if I want it. I mean, I don't know if I want it.
Yeah, I know.
It's like an old car.
That's a good one.
Right here, you sit right here.
Right in the middle.
Sure. Do you want to be in the middle?
Oh.
Sure, sit in the middle. All right. How about you hold it?
Okay.
Everybody ready? Right here. 3, 2, 1. Let me get one more.
Thanks, Ann.
Denise. You get one too. Okay. All right, next up, we're to consider approval of a proclamation declaring the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Marion County. And Paige, you're here, and Jane is here, Jane Downing, and Pammy. Great, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like, am I being recorded? What's going on there?
Yeah, you are. You're on TV being recorded. No, I'm taking a picture to post this pledge.
Mr. Chair,
If you really want to know.
Mr. Chair, can I request permission to use a visual aid and
Absolutely.
and bring our trained dog up to the front?
Do we have a trained dog here?
Yes.
Oh,
Where's
absolutely.
the
You know-
chair?
Absolutely. Thank you for
What-
bringing him, Jane.
Jane, what's the dog's name again? Maxwell. Just everybody see Maxwell and. Ah.
Maxwell does tricks. He turns
He's
around.
the best. He needs to hang out with me in my office
Oh my
every
gosh.
day.
I
Jan.
love-
I know we have a policy against dogs, but I'm just saying, look
I
at
love
him.
Labradors. I just love them. Yeah.
Thank you,
I miss
Commissioner.
mine. Thank you, Mr.
Jane.
Chair. Bye, Maxwell.
Now, Jane, I feel like since we did the show and tell, you have to tell us a little bit about Maxwell and.
Oh, she will. She will.
Okay. We'll do this. We'll do this.
Just for the awkward transition, now everyone gets to hear from the DA after the snuggly, cuddly black lab just waltzed in front of everyone. So, and
you for
here's the
spoiling
lawyer to now talk to. So we have a presentation, and by the way, I have been shown up by that dog multiple times. So I'm getting really used to it, and I don't blame anybody. Yeah, Jane and I both get shown up by that dog. My name is Paige Clarkson, Commissioners, distinguished guest, and I have the privilege of serving as Marion County's District Attorney. And we are here today specifically in recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I thank you for having us here and recognizing this really important month and something that's really important to recognize. With me today is Pammy Guerra. She runs our Victim Assistance Division, which is a very robust division in the District Attorney's Office that serves victims and survivors of all types of crime. And at my back, somewhere back there, I'm going to make them raise their hand, are individuals that work in that Victim Assistance Division. These are true heroes.
Their faces actually at both.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they didn't even have to raise their hands.
These are true heroes that do this work every day with survivors of crime. And I'm really lucky to have them work in our office and dedicate their careers and their lives and much of their free time even to this work. It is extremely important, crucial work in our community. Also with me is Jane Downing. As you all know, Jane Downing is the Executive Director for the Center for Hope and Safety. She's going to speak to you after Pammy and I do briefly this morning, and with her is the dog that really everyone cares about, Maxwell, and he's the best part of a photo op after all of this. So he's amazing, and he's available so everybody knows. He wears a vest, so people get kind of confused by that, but he is available for snuggles and cuddles and kisses and hugs and pets. You're supposed to do that. That is his whole job, unlike the DA, who has a very different job. Do not hug and snuggle me at the end of this. It would be very awkward. So with regard to Domestic Violence Awareness Month, since we came before you and did this proclamation before, our office has filed over 1,700 cases of domestic violence in our community. That number should be shocking to you. It's a large number, and it should be concerning, and it should worry you. What I can tell you that in addition to that number, that only represents those that are willing to report. What we know as individuals who work in this space, that for every single one of those cases that we have filed, there are countless others who are afraid to report. There are countless others who believe they have no options. There are countless others who believe the terrible things that their abuser have said about them. There are countless others who have been isolated by their abuser to the point that they think they have no one that they can rely on. There are countless others whose finances are affected by the fact that their abuser isolates them and makes them believe that they are worthless and incapable and unable to be independent and be people with self-worth and live on their own free of violence and abuse. For every single one of those, there are people in our community that simply are afraid to reach out and seek help. And that's why it's so important that even though this proclamation that you're going to read in a moment might seem a little bit ceremonial, it's actually really important that we do it and that we speak out on behalf of all of those folks that are afraid to report, that they understand that we live in a community that supports them, that has options for them, that has services for them, and that there are amazing people like the advocates in my office, as well as the advocates that work with Jane, that will provide all kinds of help and services and a hand up so that they can lead a life free of violence. Our proclamation today with regard to Domestic Violence Awareness Month dovetails really nicely with the proclamation that you just read about hands and words are not for hurting. It is exactly the same message, that we want people in our community to live free of violence. So thank you for being willing to do this here here today. Thank you for being willing to recognize it and recognize the hard work of the advocates that we so willingly and we are so fortunate to partner with. Jane will tell you in a minute that the amount of time and work that we put in together collaboratively with service organizations in our community, that's actually really rare. In many communities, you won't see a district attorney and the executive director of a nonprofit sitting together and talking about this important work. That is something that we prioritize in Marion County. I know I don't have to tell the commissioners and you that this is really the Marion County way, but it is very special that we work in a place that makes sure that survivors and victims of violent crime have options and believe that they have people that are working on their behalf, both in the government and in the private sector, in the nonprofit world, that will help them and will reach out to them. And so Jane's going to tell you a little bit about that. Before we turn it over to Jane, though, I'm just going to turn it over to Pammy Guerra just briefly to talk about our Victim Assistance Division.
Thank you. Thank you, Paige. I just wanted to share with you some of the outreach efforts the Victim Assistance Office participated in this year. As a regular part of our office, we do go into the community and want to share the services provided through the community, whether it be through the Victim Assistance Office or Center for Hope and Safety. The intention of the outreaches is not only to educate our community about domestic violence and other victimizations, but to also reach current victims, to let them know services exist for them in our community. So some of those outreach events were the Barbara Roberts High School Domestic Violence Symposium, the Marion County Fair, National Night Out, Fiesta Mexicana in Woodburn, Pride in the Park here in Salem, Oregon State Fair, and most recently Viva Salem. And we look forward to more opportunities in the future.
And we'll turn it over to Jane.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners, honored guests. I'm Jane Downing with the Center for Hope and Safety, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you today.
Jane, is that Mike Green?
Now it is.
Now it is.
Thank you.
You might have to reintroduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Jane Downing. I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Hope and Safety. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for allowing us to be here. As Paige mentioned, it is extremely rare for the District Attorney's Office, Victim Assistance Office, and the nonprofit that provides services to those who are not going through the system to collaborate so closely. And I've been honored to be a part of that for 26 years. And it really makes a difference for all survivors in our community. And so I just want to say how incredibly lucky we feel we are, because every day we are talking to the folks at the Victim Assistance Office, every day referring to those who want to go through the system, that here are some advocates that can help them. And every day they're referring to us. And so that makes for a better community where survivors are going to have no wrong door to go through. So just really happy to be able to do these kinds of proclamations with the district attorney, because it's so important to spread that information. And I want to tell you just a little bit about what we've been doing and just give you an overview. And then I really did bring Maxwell for a reason today, because I'm gonna end this by reading you an incredible note that we received about the services of Maxwell. So last year, just so you all know, we had over 36,000 contacts to our program. That's contacts of all kinds. Over 8,000 people walk through our doors in downtown Salem, individuals calling on our bilingual crisis line, emailing us, social media, all different ways. We do a lot of outreach in addition, providing our materials that are in English, Spanish, Russian, Vietnamese, Chinese, large print, audio, braille, and some in pictorials all throughout Marion County. We want folks to know about our services, and so we try to make sure we're reaching out to all kinds of places, bakeries, laundromats, social service offices, everywhere that we can think of. Many of you know that we were awarded a motel through the Project Turnkey, and since that opened in December of 2021, we have provided 18,000 nights of shelter to survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, and human trafficking. That's more than we've ever been able to provide before, and we're thrilled to to be doing that, and we'll continue to make that property better and better and serve more individuals in our community. We have an office in Woodburn, and so we are serving more survivors there every single week. More are coming in and being able to receive services from us there, and we are so proud to be able to have that office open and operating, and advocates there every single day to be able to provide services. As many of you may have seen, we're building some new housing. We're building Hope Plaza right next to our office. This has been a long dream to provide low-income permanent housing for survivors. It will be finished in April of 2024, not 3024. I would really cry if it was 3024. I started to say, they're supposed to turn it over to us on April 30th of 2024. So. And then I do want to give you some information. About 4 years ago, we added housing to our process, and many of you know about the continuum of care housing that has become available to us. And I just want to give you a little bit of statistics. Since January 1 of this year, we served 164 individuals, 58 adults, and 106 children. And of those, in our rapid rehousing program, 82 individuals, 28 adults, and 54 children exited the program this year with a 96% rate of exits to positive destinations, permanent housing. We have 82 individuals, 30 adults, and 52 children currently enrolled in that program. And our goal is for them to be going on to permanent housing. That's an incredible program that we hadn't been able to provide before, and we're really thrilled to be able to get folks into that permanent housing and help them rebuild their lives free of violence. And then the reason why I brought Maxwell is during the pandemic, we were able to have Maxwell join our team, and he is trained through the Joys of Living Assistance Animals. And Maxwell's job every single day is to just be sweet and loving and kind, and he is the best at that. And so every single day he's meeting with survivors, and he's there for our staff. And so he goes to shelter, he provides wonderful services to all the survivors that we serve. And we received this note from one of our advocates, and I just thought it'd be a nice way to end this this morning. Just wanted to let you know that a family I worked with visited with Maxwell today, and they were over the moon happy. The situation that they came in about was intense and involves a child with a mom devastated and in crisis about what happened. I set them up in a meeting room so they didn't have to be a part of the conversation and could enjoy some safe play, snacks, and a reprieve. Maxwell visited with them, and he was so wonderful and such a good advocate. They were all smiling and happy and giggling. Children and mom, too, gave him many hugs. Mom said it was the first time her daughter had smiled in a while. She said she was worried that her daughter would never smile again. When they came in, they all looked defeated, but after visiting with Maxwell, they were in much, much better space. So thank you to Maxwell for everything he did. He's magical. P.S. The children said they wanted to take Maxwell home because they love him. Thank you for doing this proclamation this morning.
Commissioners, any questions or comments?
I don't have any questions. I do want to say that I think it's timely. So whoever decided to plan these back to back, thank you for doing that. But also thank you to Paige and to Pammy and to the team at Marion County that sees the real life that comes from government working with nonprofit. I think people, when they hear the district attorney is present or the sheriff's office is present, their initial reaction is negative. I don't have that experience. I obviously am internal, but even before being a commissioner, I knew that Marion County was special because we have people that live and work in our community that truly believe in community, thriving, healthy, loving individuals that can, exist among us because of the services that we partner with. And I do think that the Center for Hope and Safety is a rare gem of an organization in the country. In fact, I'm super annoyed by the fact that you guys aren't recognized more for the work that you do. If we could just replicate you and Maxwell and your team, I think that we would have a much healthier country to live among. And I'm grateful for you. You do a great job leading an organization that produces really hard work. And I love your vision. So keep doing it, and please keep coming to us for support of that, because I believe what you do is a primary example of what we want to invest in our community.
Thank you so much.
Even if it's just an ice machine for the new motel.
Right.
Hotel.
That's our.
I just want to say this, that I remember when I was going to run for county commissioner back in 2014, and I met with Walt, your predecessor, and Jason Myers together, and I couldn't believe it. They said the number one call they get is DV calls, and it ties up, and I see our sheriff is here, Nick Hunter, today, and Paige, you know, you and Nick and what your people do to do this, and then Jane, prevention, and then, you know, we can't prevent it all, but it's amazing, the statistics, and I was just blown away. That was back in 2014, nine and a half years ago, when I met with them, and I didn't realize it. I don't think the average person realizes it, but the most calls we get, and how many did you say? How many cases? 1,700?
Yeah, since we were last year 1,700,
Yeah.
that amounts
In a year?
to over 700 cases filed. That's
Yeah.
just the filings. That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this is a real issue, and, you know, hands and words, and it starts right there, and educating. I can't remember the lady's name that we saw the video of, and thank you for what you do to try to educate people at a young age. And it is a heart condition. It really is a heart condition. And thank you for allowing us to participate and support in any way we can.
This year, it's hit me in a way that is different than other years. I think I was telling you this, Jane, yesterday. We have this little newspaper, Our Town, in Staten, and there's 8,500 people who live in Staten, and I know a lot of them. It's kind of like going to college or high school. I know the mayor, and I know the police chief, and I know the principal of the school, and like, you just kind of know everybody, right? And there's this little police section of the newspaper, and they talk about serious crimes or charges that have been filed. And this time, there's 3 domestic violence charges. Those are the only crimes that were reported in the newspaper, and they were very serious, like just savage. In one case, a poor woman had her face broken because if it was her husband or boyfriend had beat her so badly. And I think that's a little bit shocking, not a little bit shocking, very shocking, because the Staten that I know is not that. So I think that's one of the things that I just wanted to add to this is, for me, home is a place of peace. It's where I get out of this craziness and I go home. It's not a place of violence. It's hard for me to imagine a circumstance where violence like that would happen in my home. And I think that's true for a lot of people in Marion County. So, you know, like people who live in Staten, well, everywhere. I'm not going to name all 20 cities. There's some families who have been here a long time, and there's been a lot of love in those families, and there continues to be a lot of love in those families. There's a lot of families here where they could never imagine that level of violence. And I think in some ways, what you do, Paige, what you do, Jane, what we do is an expression of the values of the people who could never imagine violence like that in their home. And that doesn't mean that that doesn't happen in Marion County, but I think the majority of people in Marion County could never imagine this. So as shocking as the numbers are, how many instances of violence in the home there are, I think it's something that I take encouragement from, is there's 350,000 people in Marion County. So for the vast majority of people, home is a place of peace. It's not a place of violence. And I think the work that you do is an expression of our values, that home needs to be a place of peace. And I think it's a wonderful thing that for people that's not their reality, there's a place they can go. There's people they can trust to give them that peace, even if they can't find it in their home. And so, I don't know, it just hit me differently today. I think because because I think like Staten, like, come on, people don't do that in Staten. And not only do they do it, but sometimes it's really horrible. So I think it's really important that we do this work and we give expression to our values, which is that the home is a place of peace. It's a home where you should feel loved, not a home where you should fear for your safety. So anyway, that's my soapbox, but thank you. Thank you for the work that you do.
Mr. Chair, if you're ready.
Yeah.
I'll move that we approve a proclamation declaring the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Marion County.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
All right, Mr. Chair, in a matter of proclaiming the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Marion County. Whereas the impact of domestic violence extends beyond individuals reaching into families and communities, and whereas since the last proclamation, Marion County has experienced at least 3 domestic violence homicide crimes, and whereas since the last proclamation, the Marion County District Attorney's Office received 2,065 law enforcement reports of domestic violence and filed 1,704 domestic violence cases. And
whereas, since the last proclamation, the Marion County courts received 3,209 requests for protective orders. And whereas, since the last proclamation, the Center for Hope and Safety received 105,209 contacts to their program and provided 23,483 nights of shelter. And whereas, since the last proclamation, the Marion County Victims Assistance Division provided services to over 1,700 victims of domestic violence, walking alongside them and giving them a voice in the criminal justice process. And
whereas we know, as individuals, we can make a difference by speaking up and reaching out to help victims and survivors. Now, therefore, the Marion County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and resolves to honor those who have died and acknowledge those who have survived by supporting meaningful services that create safety and hope for survivors in our community. Okay, thank you all for being here, and we'll take another picture.
Commissioners, would you bring your brochure? And also Sheriff Hunter, would you join us? And I like to hold these in the picture so people have it for advertising in our post.
I'm trying to get my pen going here.
It was really actually hard to get the pen off the paper. Oh. I know this is my old-ish fingers, but we noticed that too. Okay, can I hug this? Oh, no. It's right here.
If you hold a tree, he will. He'll watch you.
You want me to hold a tree? I look like a tree. Look at how you use that.
you look like a power washer.
You don't even want to hand it to me. I was going to hold it. There we go.
Do you want to hold this one?
Sure.
All right, everybody look right here. 3, 2, 1. Hold on, I think Commissioner Cameron just distracted. One more. Thank you.
We just hope because the commissioner's distracted.
It wasn't the dog. It was me.
He should come the things you can.
Yes. Okay. I will do that.
I have a
Sure.
glove on my hand.
Okay, so I noticed some folks walked in. I noticed some folks walked in late. Do you want to, if you want to sign up for public comment, Brenda's holding it. This is for the hearing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great.
But there's also, but I don't think they're.
There's also public comment. So if you want to talk, if you want to sign up for the hearing, to comment on the hearing, the sign-up's there. If you just want to comment about the universe, or whatever on your mind, this is the sign-up sheet here.
How long? 7 and 9?
Yeah, so if you, it's whatever you like. This is the public comment.
There's one over there, right?
Okay, great.
And also, if I could, I know that there's several people here for public comment. This next presentation is going to be less than 7 minutes. So just hang in there, please. What you have to say is important.
We have a presentation from the United Way for the 2023 Employee Contribution Campaign Kickoff.
Good morning. For the record, I'm Gary White, Administrative Services Manager for the Marion County Board of Commissioners. Commission, guests, and staff, I am here today along with a representative of the United Way of the Mid-Willamette Valley to present to you information on our upcoming employee contribution campaign, which will run October 11th through November 10th of this year. At this time, I would like to introduce Melinda of the United Way of the Mid-Willamette Valley, who will share with you how contributions to United Way impact and serve the residents of Marion County. Melinda?
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, commissioners and guests. I will make this very brief. We're going to have our CEO, Rhonda Wolf, on the screen momentarily with our campaign video that we've made this year that has updated information of what we're doing. United Way is changing all the time. We're growing. Our reach is getting farther and wider, and partners like you heard today for Center Hope and Safety and Hands Are Not for Hurting, those are the people that we work with all the time. And this is an opportunity for Marion County employees to do the tangible, the giving, the contributions that fund the amazing work that truly do impact the people that we call our community, our neighbors, our friends. This is the time that those funds go to them, and we are so grateful for the generosity of our partners with Marion County and across the state as well. We work with over 300 nonprofits and thousands of lives every year impacted, and I'm going to turn this over to our CEO, and then I will be here to give some more tangible updates, and then we'll make this very brief, but thank you so much.
The hardest project that I've had to work on was the wildfire recovery. The pain and suffering that these people were going through and oftentimes feeling hopeless. The part that was so fulfilling was it's the first time that I've seen a community put aside their differences and come together for a common cause, which was to take care of one another. They hugged each other, they cried together, they came with carloads full of basic needs items, and they just wanted to know how else can we help. My name is Rhonda Wolf, and I'm the CEO of the United Way of the Mid-Willamette Valley. When we talk about our mission of United Way, we talk about filling the gaps, and we talk about adaptive philanthropy. When I talk about filling the gaps, I don't want to go out and duplicate what other organizations are doing really well. We want to be value added. In order to fill those gaps, we have to have adaptive philanthropy, and that's twofold. One is that we have flexible resources that can be used whenever we might have to pivot to solve a crisis or to fulfill a need. But we also have the ability that when we're working on a project, that we can target our fundraising for that particular project. For example, our affordable housing project for seniors is one where we've gone out and specifically asked strategic donors to give to that project. One of the other programs that I'm super excited about is our Good 360 Gifts in Kind program. In that program, we partner with big box stores to receive items that normally would have been discarded. We are then able to take those products, we donate them to other nonprofit agencies, and they can use them to either better their place of employment or use them with their clients to better their lives. So our partnership with Willamette University is a grant-making program. So the success of the program is one that students are able to target organizations whose missions are critical to our younger people who are growing up in our community. Safe Sleep United is different from other shelters in that it is a low barrier shelter, meaning we will accept women where they're at as long as they're not harmful to themselves or others. They can then take that energy and focus on whatever that next step is. So the Awesome 3000 has been going on in our community since the mid-1980s. this great program that serves upwards of 3,000 youth from preschool to 18, an opportunity to be active, be healthy, and set goals. So this year, 2023, was the first year that the awesome 3,000 was able to come back after COVID, and United Way was the organization that was able to do that. United Way's ability to bring together individuals and other community partners allows us to do the work that money alone can't do. We're the convener, we're the friend maker, we're the fundraiser, and all these things together help us support and serve our community better. That's part of the beauty of United Way, is that we can pivot to whatever that next crisis or that next need is in our community. That's how we bring value. We at United Way are so excited about the projects and programs that we're currently working on. We can't stay stagnant. We must move with purpose.
We are getting more involved with Jefferson School District with our warehouse, which used to be called Good 360, but now we're United Way Community Resource Center, just so people know where to go to find those resources, which grows all the time. We have big box stores that gives us thousands of product, and that product is moved out into our community with people that know where the need is. So that continues to grow as a partnership. Northwest Hub, we partnered with them and we funded a program for rural bike packages, and now we're following that up with a chariot bus that's been made into a bike shop, a mobile bike shop, so that we can continue to serve those rural citizens in Marion County. We also, you heard that our Safe Sleep shelter is growing. It's going to be 3 times as large, and we're accepting children as well with women. So that's an added impact to those that need that kind of support. And it looks like, in our wildfire recovery, we're still working diligently with that rebuild up in the canyon, and are still a big partner in that way as well. So I appreciate your time. I'm grateful to be here, and we're excited for this campaign, breaking records and doing the good work of those around us.
Thank you. Thank you, Melinda. Our goal this year here at Marion County is to exceed last year's contributions. Last year we contributed approximately $8,400. We'll do that in a variety of ways. Each department will develop and manage their own fundraising projects, examples of which include our office, the Board of Commissioners. Right now we're looking at 3 events: a biscuit and gravy breakfast, a soup bowl lunch, and then the popular fry bread taco lunch, which was done last year. Human Resources is going to be hosting a used book and game sale. Finance is going to do the Little Lois cafe lunch on multiple days at different county campuses, where 100% of the tips for those deliveries will be donated to the United Way. Business Services is doing a silent auction for donated items. There'll be an email going out this week asking for donations for that, as well as a baked goods sale. County employees can also access the United Way fundraiser section of the Board of Commissioners intranet page to learn more about scheduled events, including the time and location. The internet page also contains a list of department representatives if they have any questions. Employees are also able to contribute through payroll deductions. Pledge forms can be submitted to an employee's department representative, to myself, or submitted to the Board of Commissioners office. We're also working on an interdepartment competition to recognize and reward the top contributing department. We would be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you, Gary. Any questions?
Question, Mr. Chair, but I just want to say, as a board member at United Way for, I think, the last 8 years, I really appreciate all the work that is being done in our community, and how the team, and I'm not going to say the board, but the team has really pivoted to to make sure that they've changed to fill the needs. And one of the things I want to stress is, yeah, we'll do all these activities to raise these one-time monies, but as a ongoing, a monthly contributor, that's an easy way to have $25 or $50 hit a credit card or out of your, your bank account every month, because that's really the important thing, is that we sustain the giving for any organization. So, thank you.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Bethlehem?
Nope, I'm glad we're
All
doing
right.
it.
Thank you. Thanks for your
Thank
work.
you for your time.
Commissioners, what I'd like to do is I'd like to do our consent agenda right now and then go into public comment, because my guess is some of the comments are going to have to do with what's on action. So if somebody would.
Yep, I'll do it. I
Okay.
move to approve the consent agenda under Community Services, approve the contract for services with Economic Consultants Oregon Ltd. DBA Eco Northwest in the amount of $127,690 to establish a community-based grant implementation strategy for the Opal Creek Promise Implementation Plan, retroactive to October 4th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Under Health and Human Services, approve the incoming funds grant agreement with the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission for services performed in support of the following specialty court programs, retroactive to July 1, 23 through March 31st, 2026. The Marion County Adult Drug Court in the amount of $345,632. The Marion County Family Treatment Court in the amount of $159,732. The Marion County Juvenile Treatment Court Supervised Treatment and Recovery STAR program in the amount of $160,440. The Marion County Mental Health Court in the amount of $271,068. And the Marion County Veteran Treatment Court in the amount of $144,008. What is this, legal counsel?
Keep going.
We added that.
So skip those things?
No.
Oh.
We added them.
Under legal counsel, approve an order for the settlement of litigation case number 623-EV-00158-MK. And under Public Works, approve the incoming funds grant agreement with the Oregon Department of Administrative Services in the amount of $950,000 in the American Rescue Plan ARPA funding for the Marion County Radio Communications Project through January 1, 2025. And approve the purchase order with Dick Hanna Chevrolet in the amount of $281,106.96 for the purchase of 12 Malibu sedans for the Marion County Health and Human Services to replace 12 used vehicles purchased from the Oregon Department of Administrative Services that are at end of life. And finally, under Sheriff's Office, approve the incoming funds intergovernmental agreement with the United States Department of the Interior, Bureau of Land Management, in the amount of $101,000 to provide patrol services on BLM land effective January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. Wait.
I'll second.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, there's a Scrivener's error on the legal counsel matter. Instead of EV, it should read CV.
Okay, so noted. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Okay, now we're going to open up for public comment, and I will invite Matt Becerra to come forward. Matt, if you could just introduce yourself for the record and then tell us what's on your mind.
Yeah. Good morning, commissioners, dear neighbors. Let's see.
Lights green, it's on.
Okay. There we go.
Perfect.
Good morning, commissioners, dear neighbors. My name is Matthew Massera. I'm the executive director of Be Bold Street Ministries, and I want to speak in reference to Measure 110. And as is stated in the information that I received, this measure has actually produced the antithesis of what was promised as far as crime reduction, public safety, and lives saved. And I want to give you a little bit of backstory so that you kind of know where I'm coming from. Was in the drug world for 27 years, acquired 14 knife wounds, a couple gunshot wounds in that time. So I'm intimately acquainted with what the drug world produces, and it produces the same thing here as it does nationally and locally. And I also want to give you a couple of examples of what I know to be true. So what this measure has done here locally on the streets of our city in real time is remove recourse in the street level dealing. and street level using. So everybody knows that there is no recourse, and I'll give you an example of just one example of how that is shown in our society. So on Monday, I was in this building. I purchased a bus ticket for another neighbor at 11:13 a.m. Went into the bathrooms just around the corner to see 3 of our neighbors shooting up deadly, mind-altering substances openly in these bathrooms in this building. That's just one incident. So we're seeing this on a daily basis all the time. I was over off from Wolverine yesterday, was having a conversation with multiple individuals, right? And some of the things that I used to be fond of when I was operating in the drug world was stabbing people. It was commonplace. And one of the individuals, he's like, yeah, you're talking about how that used to be fun for you. He's like, I love getting high and stabbing people right now. And so that's part of his current life, and that was right on Wolverine in the strip mall parking lot there. And he's smiling and he's laughing. And ultimately, these types of things are happening every day, all day long. I know that it increases crime because I was actively a part of those types of things for a significant portion of my life, because my dad introduced me to that world. He did 40 years in prison, same types of things. So anybody that's using these substances, mine was methamphetamine. I want to shoot up as much as I can possibly get my hands on. I want to make it. I'm going to sell it. And that's just a message of death for our community. I get to see the direct effects and all the ripple effects of the results of Measure 110 every single day, to the children, to the families, to the grandparents, to the aunts, to the uncles. I get those calls all week long. We work with multiple law enforcement agencies, and the folks on the streets know that their hands are tied. And that's why I see drug use every single day all over the downtown corridor, all over the parts of any part of our city that we're at, and we are in most parts of our city. So as I think about that, I do oppose Measure 110 because I see the direct effects. It hasn't reduced crime; it's increased it. Because a part of it for me too is like, if I'm using methamphetamine, I'm committing crime and I'm committing acts of violence. That goes hand in hand with the drug world, and where the drug world is allowed to operate, safety is never a component. So that's why I say the word antithesis. It actually opposes it. It's an oxymoron to say that by reducing these deadly, mind-altering substances was going to reduce crime and save lives. And it's just absolutely ludicrous. So those are just a few of the components that I'm directly aware of, and we're on the streets every single day. And we get to see the effects, and our community as a whole is affected by this. So when I got this message in reference to this being repealed, I was encouraged, because I actually am out loving our neighbors as I love myself, and sharing with people it's not okay to use methamphetamine or heroin. There's no such thing as an acceptable amount. Unfortunately, taxpayers have said that there is, based off from this measure. And it's a really unloving message. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you all today. There's a couple of examples, and I could share with you and eat up the rest of a significant portion of multiple months of situations that we encounter every single day, all day long, and the vast ripple effect that affects our entire state, because we're not just here in Salem, it's all over the state. And I get to see the negative effects all day long, every single day, of what it's done to our community, the decriminalization of these deadly substances. So I appreciate all your time, and I would love to be able to share more, but I want to be wise with everybody's time. So I hope that gives a little more insight into some real-time happenings right now on the streets of our city. And I'm positive that as I leave here today, I will encounter more situations like I did yesterday, which makes sense to me, because that's how the drug world operates.
Thank you.
And I speak from experience.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Your comments.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Julie Hoy. morning.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'm going to stick to my notes.
Why don't you introduce yourself for the record?
My name is Julie Hoy. I'm here today not as a Salem City Councilor, but as a resident of Salem and a business owner in Marion County. I've lived in the same house on Center Street in Northeast Salem for 32 years. Since the passage of Measure 110, I have personally observed the decline of humanity roll like an avalanche across the land. The decriminalization of life-altering drugs has created an entire population of people no entity in Oregon was prepared to handle. Now, we have too many people to help and not enough people to help them. Law enforcement has been rendered useless on the ground in these matters, and that makes it all so much worse. From my business on Lancaster, I deal many times daily with folks experiencing some form of addiction and/or psychosis. As I recited the pledge, I will not use my hands or my words for hurting myself or others. I realize I'm assaulted, often, by expletives, name-calling, and threats from the mouths of mentally ill and addicted persons who don't want to be asked to move from the front or inside of my business. It's no wonder I'm exhausted. It's no wonder I'm tired of feeling unsafe. And I know I'm not alone. I'm grateful to be led to live in Marion County and to be led by a board of commissioners who genuinely care about the human condition of those who live and work in this beautiful county. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for the motion to repeal Measure 110. It's not all that we need, but it's an absolutely necessary place to start. I'm here to help. Please do not hesitate to enlist me. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And thank you for listening.
Okay, next up is Eric Grazer.
Hello.
Go ahead and introduce yourself for the record.
Yes, Eric Razor, Executive Director of Soaring Heights Recovery Homes. And once again, I'm up here speaking in front of you guys where I'm really uncomfortable talking in public, so I'll do the best I can. I'm here specifically to talk about components of Measure 110 and a little bit about what we see in our houses. At Soaring Heights, we provide a structured environment for individuals that want to leave addiction and substance abuse behind. We're not a low-barrier organization, and individuals are required to be substance-free when they're in our homes. And a little bit about why we got there is my personal experience and why I disagree with the decriminalization of drugs. I struggled with addiction for almost 30 years. And I can tell you that being sent to prison for extended period of times without treatment wasn't a solution. It's also not a solution to remove the consequences from drug addiction and the crime that goes with it. There has to be something that needs to come back in the middle somewhere. There needs to be something that gets people into treatment. And if it's some type of consequence, then that's what it needs to be. I can tell you from the people that come to our houses, we're a sober housing option. And when individuals come to us, they come to us from a variety of situations and personal circumstances that lead them to seek out the sober housing. Some of them come from referrals from parole and probation. They come to us from drug court, the SOAR program, Department of Human Services. And the thing that's common about all these individuals that come to our homes is there's a consequence. There's a reason they're seeking out sobriety and treatment. And if they are there because of potential consequences that could be imposed if failure to complete treatment or drug use continues. Everyone that does come into our organization or our program, they first enter the doors, they want to be clean and sober. And that consequence that got them in the door is helpful because they're there seeking treatment and we can help them. With decriminalization, there's less people looking for that treatment. There's more crime. I just think it's a component of Measure 110 that needs to be fixed. There needs to be consequences. At least get people in the door so they'll at least seek treatment. And that's what I have.
Thank you. Okay, next up, I have Jen Benavides. Is that how you say that?
Yes, you got it right.
All right. Come on up. Introduce yourself for the record.
I got the email this morning and just ran over here as quickly as I possibly could. Thank you for having me. I'm Jen Benavides on behalf of ServPro, Lynn, Benton, Lincoln, Polk, McMinnville, across the board, basically the whole Willamette Valley, and I have been working here, and I'm a resident of Salem and have been and went to high school here. I came down today just to basically speak on the behalf of the business owners that I work with regarding not only the homeless situation, but also fentanyl and the biohazards that come along with all of the people that are out on our streets. And so I just wanted to share today with you some of the experiences that I've had over the last year due to the situations and the millions of dollars that are coming from the issues on the back end and that the business owners are having to pay. One prime example, everybody knows downtown Salem, Rite Aid. The woman that owns that building has gone every way to Sunday to fix the situation down there, but as you know, it's a covered area during the rain, and that's where people like to stay. There are coves where people can urinate and go potty and make all sorts of messes. So we came up with a solution for the business owner. She's out of state because the city of Salem will not let her take the awnings down. And we have a crew out there once every day to actually move the homeless people so we can power wash and keep it clean. We're essentially cleaning it for them and the people that are using and abusing on the streets at this time, daily. If you come down about 5 o'clock every day, you'll see me down there again because we are now having to go back twice a day and clean up the area and keep it safe for folks that just want to walk down the streets in downtown Salem. I could go on for hours about that situation, but we work with Salem PD and their hands are tied on the availability to arrest or take any action in downtown, so on that situation. I do get nervous in these as well. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a behind-the-scenes, boots-on-the-ground kind of girl, so just kind of stay with me as I speak here. Outside of that, I'm sure you all are aware of St. Joe's fire recently. That was somebody that was under the influence, and if anybody listened to his statement, and I would suggest you go back and actually listen to his statement, you could, he is fully highly strung out on some kind, I don't know if it's meth or fentanyl or anything, but he was completely strung out, and his statement that he gave about setting the church on fire was a big ordeal, and we came in and been cleaning that out, and we've actually been able to assist in restoring our church in downtown Salem. So outside of that, we have Wallace Marine Park, the Lighthouse building, and what I'm coming back to when I'm talking about this is we're being called on the back end to come clean up the issues, which we as a business are here to do that, right? We want to do that, but to see our neighbors suffering and the businesses taking the hit from this is where I'm coming in. I'm like, we've got to do something about this. So that's why I'm here today, to assist in repealing this, as well as I am a parent. I have 2 children in the Salem-Keizer School District, and I'm terrified to let them go to an outing because I don't know if they're going to get slipped something. It is so easy for our children to come across things that could be fatal. So that's why I'm here today. Thank you for letting me speak, and hopefully we can fix this.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I don't have anybody else sign up for public comment. Does anybody else want to sign up before we close public comment? Okay, I don't see anybody, so we're going to move into our first action item, which is consider approval of a resolution proclaiming Marion County's call for the repeal of provisions enacted pursuant to Oregon Ballot Measure 110. And Commissioner Bethel, your name is next to this.
Thank you, Commissioners. I would. And actually, I'd also like to invite the District Attorney and the Sheriff to come forward to participate in this discussion today. I think that this is a topic that obviously we've heard about just about every hour of our day for, since it passed. There's people on both sides of it. Last week, I was in a 4-hour meeting with the Association of Oregon Counties where there was a robust discussion in the Health and Human Services Committee on what is the right thing to do. And I had staff pull me data on the passage of Measure 110 in Marion County. And in 2020, it passed by 54%. What that tells me is that the people of Marion County, like the citizens of Oregon who voted this in, are compassionate people, and that they believe that there is an opportunity for folks to recover and rehabilitate from addiction and any crisis that leads them to that. But I strongly believe that they didn't know what they were voting for. And I strongly believe that our legislative body has not taken any action or the appropriate action to protect the citizens, all the citizens of Oregon. And so today, I'm requesting this resolution to be passed by this board to join 11 other counties in Oregon and more to come to compel the legislature to not just reform, but repeal Measure 110 in its entirety. And I say that at the same time that I firmly believe that we have to continue to invest a significant amount of money into the treatment system of Oregon. I grew up in an environment that was hostile and interacted with folks that were addicted, including my own mother. There's never one time in Oregon to where I think that the government, specifically at the state level, has really seen the needs of our citizens. And I think they've always created policy that's a one-size-fits-all approach, which doesn't work. And I know that for a fact as a commissioner. I see it all the time, that what works in Marion County is not going to work in Multnomah County for a variety of reasons. So I'd really like for the district attorney and the sheriff to share from their perspectives as to why Measure 110 should be appealed and the impacts that you've seen in your jobs in Marion County specifically since this was passed.
Thank you, Commissioner, and other commissioners, distinguished guests. Just for the record, I'm Paige Clarkson. I do have the privilege of serving as the Marion County District Attorney. And I want to first state very clearly and for the record that I support the board in this potential motion today, specifically because of my job and my role here as a District Attorney of Marion County. Specifically, Measure 110, as you pointed out, was passed because the people of Oregon are big-hearted, good human beings. And unfortunately, what Measure 110 did was it failed to recognize that while addiction is absolutely a public health problem, it is also a public safety issue. And the crisis that we are facing in this state is both of those things. And there are ways to deliver on the promise of Measure 110 and do that responsibly in a way that does not sacrifice public safety for our community. I really can't say it any better than the people that you already heard from today with public comment. Mr. Macera, Councilperson Julie Hoy, and other individuals that are in the treatment world, are in the business space. This particular measure is a disaster, and it is destroying our communities, and it is destroying our public safety. And when you take law enforcement out of the equation, you create an environment where drugs, violence, and addiction, behavioral health problems not just get worse, but they thrive. And as public safety professionals, we have an obligation to do something about that and to be leaders in that community. What I think is important for you to understand and for our community to understand from a law enforcement and district attorney perspective is prior to 110, we always and already prioritized treatment. We used law enforcement intervention as a bridge to treatment, as a bridge to services, not as a barrier. We, prior to Measure 110 in Marion County, already had numerous programs like law enforcement assisted diversion, of which I am extremely proud. We have treatment courts that get people diverted from the criminal justice system or into treatment because they are in the system. And we have always prioritized that. Measure 110 took us out of that game. It took us out of that intervention, and it removed a tool. It is not the only tool. Law enforcement and public safety is not the only tool to solve this. Complex problems have very complex solutions. But law enforcement and public safety, my office, the police departments, and the sheriff, we have a role to be played here. And we cannot stand by and not speak out. We cannot stand by and watch our communities suffer. We cannot stand by and substitute addiction and death, which is occurring in our community every day because of the proliferation of street drugs in our community. In preparation for kind of looking at all of this, my office collected all kinds of data. But what I want to say here today is you do not have to be a data wonk to know that this is not working. You can look out a window. And you have heard that here today, and I echo what has been said. I support the board in what is, again, may seem ceremonial, but a very important order, a very important stand against this measure that is destroying our communities. And I will turn it over to Sheriff Hunter.
So I can follow that.
Sure.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nick Hunter, I'm the Marion County Sheriff. The Sheriff's Office.
Pull that microphone close to you. Is it green?
It might not be on.
It's like an inversion.
Look at the microphone. Is it green?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it's green now.
Okay, there you go.
Nick Hunter, Marion County Sheriff. I also am here this morning to fully support the Commissioners in this action. To touch on a few things, I think the DA did a great job, but Matt and Eric, and I'm sorry I didn't catch the first name of Miss Benavides, Sharon back there, and then Julie also being here this morning, you get a different perspective of where this comes from. You've got a business owner, you've got a service provider, and then you've got two that are really nonprofit organizations looking to better the community, that have that community in mind, and they're saying this is not working. And I agree with the DA. The intent when 110 was created was that we want to get to treatment, and treatment is the answer. And we don't disagree. Treatment has always been the answer, and we have several programs that have worked to allow that treatment to run its course and do what it's supposed to. But now what we have unfortunately done is we have disincentivized that treatment, and the ability of law enforcement to intervene, as the DA is talking about, we've lost that ability. I'm very proud of the LEAD program, Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion. And when we talk about it, what we have to understand is behavioral change. And so behavioral change comes from rapport, comes from influence, and it comes from persuasion. But to get to that rapport, you have to have something that allows you to hold on to that person and have a conversation. Because if you can't hold on to that person and have a conversation, then in the mind of an addict, they don't need help. They want to do something else. They want to continue the habit that they currently have. And if we have that ability to hold on to them, build that rapport, now we work towards not us telling them what they need to do, but them wanting to make a change, them wanting to get better, wanting to engage in treatment. But it all starts with our ability to actually have that conversation. And so for my enforcement deputies that are out there all the time, we used to have that. And we used to be able to not try and put folks in jail, because we know that's not the answer. That goes away from pro-social behavior. That puts them in an environment where, as Eric had mentioned before, you come out the same as you went in. So if we can't provide treatment, we're not providing an answer. But we have to provide treatment in the right setting, and we have to have a pathway and a gateway to get us to the treatment. And unfortunately, what we're seeing now is that gateway has shifted. And the gateway now is moving towards more violent crime. It's moving towards more theft. It's moving towards more things that are supporting that habit, because we no longer have a way to intervene. So I have a whole bunch of notes right here, and I could go on for a very long time, and especially listening to those others in the room. But my answer is simply this: everybody's right. Everybody's right in their own perspective, and you can see so many ways that this is causing harm, not helping. And the whole point is we are here because we want to provide treatment. This community thrives on providing treatment and providing those answers, but you have to give us the tools to get there. My last piece is it is not just what is happening on the front, it's happening on the back as well. My community corrections, those parole officers, those men and women that want to help and serve, we're not getting those folks to them any longer to allow them to work through treatment cycles to then get back to, because the DA says public health and she says public safety, and I'll add in one more word: livability. Livability in the community. is being affected right now, and it is going down. And there is nobody that can stand there and say, I don't care who you are, that you don't care about livability in your community and you want to see that improve. For that to happen, we have got to see something change with Measure 110, and we have to have the ability to intervene to get those folks back on the right pathway.
Thank you, Sheriff Hunter. I think, one of the things that as you were speaking, I think when people looked at Measure 110, the question they thought they were being asked was, do I think an addict should go to prison or get treatment? They said, well, I think an addict should get treatment. But the misinformation that was underneath that is nobody was asked, do I want to allow drug use everywhere in all public spaces without any consequences? But that's actually what happened. That's actually the practical effect. And I think what a lot of folks don't understand is we don't make criminal law. We don't make the system, right? The DA is a state officer. The DA doesn't actually work for the county, right? So you enforce state law. So when all of a sudden the state says there's no meaningful police contact you can have for the possession of use of drugs in our community, that's it. There's not really much we can do at the local level. And so I think it's just really important for our community to understand the reason we have to repeal ballot measure 110, the reason why we have to do this at the state level is because in order for us to actually get the treatment to the folks who need it on our streets, we have to be able to intervene. And one of the things that I also want to say, tomorrow morning we have our re-entry breakfast. And I encourage everybody to come, even if you haven't signed up, just come. It's a great thing. And you'll see stories from people who have really succeeded and are now really helping other people in our community. And I so appreciate Eric and Matt being here and sharing their stories, because I think one of the things that, again, is this sort of misinformation out here is that somehow there's this antagonism between law enforcement and folks in recovery. And at least in Marion County, that is not the case. We rely heavily on people in our community that are in recovery who have overcome, serious stories. I mean, stories where you're like, oh my gosh, can you imagine having to live through that? Not only have they lived through that, but now they're providing so much hope to people in our community. They're helping people in treatment. They're getting people better. And not only is there not antagonism, but we rely on each other. We really have a strong community here. So I feel super comfortable saying, yes, please let's repeal ballot measure 110. I'm convinced that more people will get treatment, not less, if we repeal this ballot measure. And it's really important that we just rally our community and get our community back to the way we all want it to be.
One of the topics that I just want to point out today that's super important to this board in our policy and also just our value system that Commissioner Willis talks about, we believe in generational impact. We believe that every investment that we make as a board of commissioners is going to make a positive generational impact for generations to come. We spent $68 million recently on generational impacts. This is the first time since I've been a commissioner that I can say that we live in a state that is creating generational impact for the worst. The significant amount of harm that's coming to children right now and the children to come, if this isn't fixed, is unthinkable. I'm going to actually quote the district attorney in the data that she and her team so thankfully gave to me. And flat out, she says, ballot measure 110 forgot about the youth. Ballot measure 110 treats youth the same as adults. Early intervention for drug abuse by kids has been all but eliminated. From February 2021 through September 30th, 2003, only 0.6% of the Class E violations filed statewide pursuant to ballot measure 110 involved juveniles. That's 35 out of 6,178 filings. Juveniles today are allowed to possess, carry, and use illicit drugs while remaining out of the reach of the juvenile department and the services that are offered across the state. And I would just like to call everybody's attention to the news story that happened 2 Sundays ago where 8 youth in Multnomah County almost died and overwhelmed the public safety system because they thought they were taking meth and they ended up taking fentanyl, and all of them died and were Narcaned. That is unacceptable, and that is a direct cause of ballot measure 110, and is beyond unacceptable. The amount of rage that comes to me when I think about our youth that walk around unsupervised because their parents are high and selfish and dealing with whatever demons they have because of their drug use is learned by their kids and then therefore executed by their kids. We are destroying a generation. I just can't stand it anymore. So I realize that the legislature, in all of its creative wisdom, recently decided to put together some special work group and a co-convening committee that's led by Senator Lieber and Representative Croft to be able to produce some version of reform for the 2024 legislative session. I would encourage every voter to thoughtfully pay attention to that and use your voice where it's supposed to be used, which is in that building, ensuring that they do their job to make sure we can do our job to protect the people that we love the most in our communities. So I will leave Commissioner Cameron to his thoughts before we move into a motion and this resolution.
I'd probably echo him. I just don't need to say it like that. I just echo all that you both said. I did want to clarify one thing. I know our sheriff and our district attorney are elected by the people, and that, yeah, you're a state position, but our district attorney works for the citizens of Marion County and is elected by them. And the Marion County citizens pay most, probably 95% of the district attorney's office. The state does not supply us general fund.
That's a good clarification. Thank you, Commissioner.
I heard you say that she's a state position, but the Marion County citizens that elect you and the sheriff and us are the ones that are flipping the tax bill for the good work that your office does. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I just echo the comments that you both made about this. We just need accountability, and I think we've, tomorrow I love that we're going to do the second chance breakfast, and I saw Commissioner Carlson's post about the scholarships yesterday, and this thing started a long time ago with her. And the fact that we have all had second chances somewhere, in some degree in our life, and to have that mercy and grace, but also the judgment that comes with it to hold us accountable is really important. And this just didn't do it. And so I'm just going to say that. And do you want a motion? What are we doing here?
I would like a motion, yeah.
And I think it is my motion, I will, Mr. Chair, I will make a motion to approve a resolution proclaiming Marion County's call for the repeal of provisions enacted pursuant to the Oregon Ballot Measure 110 from 2020.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion passes. And why don't you kick it off? You want to read this resolution?
In a matter proclaiming Marion County call for the repeal of the provisions enacted pursuant to the Oregon Ballot Measure 110 in 2020. This resolution and the matter came before the Marion County Board of Commissioners at its regularly scheduled meeting on October 11, 2023. Whereas Oregon Ballot Measure 110 passed in 2020, the Drug Addiction Treatment and Recovery Act was passed in 2020 with the promise of reducing crime, improving public safety, and saving lives. And whereas the evidence shows that Measure 110 has had the opposite effect, leading to an increase in overdose deaths, criminal activity, public nuisance, and diminished quality of life for the citizens of Oregon. And whereas since Measure 110 passed, there have been a dramatic increase in overdose deaths in Oregon. In 2020, there were 585 overdose deaths. In 2021, that number increased to 917. And as March 8, 2023, there have been 1,161 overdose deaths confirmed in Oregon, 2022-23, more than doubling the number experienced just 2 years prior.
Whereas, as of June 30th, 2023, of the 5,299 tickets filed in the Oregon Circuit Courts since Measure 110 went into effect, More than 60% resulted in a recipient failing to pay and facing no further penalties. A state audit found that during its first 15 months in operation, the treatment referral hotline received just 119 calls at a cost to the state of $7,000 per call. And whereas Measure 110 has reduced the deterrent effect of drug laws, making it more likely that people would use drugs, the threat of arrest and prosecution serve as a deterrent to some people from using hard drugs. Measure 110 has removed this deterrent, making it more likely that people would use these drugs. And whereas hard drug use can lead to a number of public health issues, including human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, hepatitis C, and mental health problems. These facts place a strain on our healthcare system and make it more difficult to provide care for people who need it. And
whereas Measure 110 has also made it more likely that people will commit property crimes. A study by the National Institute on Drug Abuse found that drug users are more likely to commit property crimes than non-drug users. The study found that drug users are 2.5 times more likely to commit burglary, 2 times more likely to commit larceny, and 1.5 times more likely to commit motor vehicle theft. And whereas members of law enforcement and the criminal justice system have reported that Measure 110 has made it more difficult to motivate drug users to enter treatment. The threat of arrest and prosecution can be a motivating factor for people to enter treatment. Measure 110 removed this motivating factor, making it more likely that people will continue to use drugs and not seek treatment. This is especially true for people who are struggling with addiction and who may need the structure and support of a treatment court or in-custody treatment program. And whereas Measure 110 has reduced the quality of life for our residents, hard drug use is often associated with public nuisance behavior, such as loitering, littering, aggressive panhandling, and increased criminal activity. This has led to a diminished ability to safely use parks and other public spaces inhabited by drug users. And whereas we, the Marion County Board of Commissioners, believe the derogatory effects and long-term threats to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Marion County by Measure 110 should be acknowledged, and that Measure 110 should be repealed. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Marion County, the provisions enacted pursuant to Oregon Ballot Measure 110 need to be repealed to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of our community. The Oregon Legislature must immediately take any and all actions necessary to repeal the provisions enacted pursuant to Ballot Measure 110. Dated this 11th day of October, 2023. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I just want to make one more comment, though, and I think Commissioner Bethel alluded to this the other day when we were looking at this, that the good thing, the money that has flowed for the addiction treatment and getting that is something that needs to, as this is hopefully repealed, we need to continue to invest in those programs to help people.
I do think it's important to state, though, that that money was there before Ballot Measure 110.
Sure.
Because it's marijuana money.
Right.
It's not money that somebody who off the street paid a citation all of a sudden created billions of dollars.
That's my point, is it still could be moved
that's right.
to do that.
So it
Right.
still exists, and we just need them to get rid of this and direct it appropriately. Bring back accountability. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Lori, we're going to consider approval of the Health Insurance Study Committee renewal recommendations for the Marion County Law Enforcement Association and the Marion County Health Insurance Plans for the plan year 2024. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Hopefully this is on. I think that's great. Can you hear me okay? I'm Lori Clumson. I'm the Human Resources Manager here. I definitely want to first recognize that
Lori, pull it closer.
Hold it closer to you.
Better?
Is it green on?
Now it is. Better? Okay, good. I just want to first recognize it's hard to do my presentation following what was already discussed. I've appreciated hearing the presentations and just hearing the impact of this measure. So it's going to feel like a change of gears with what I'm about to present.
Totally okay.
Yeah. So I'm here to present the Health Insurance Study Committee benefit recommendations for plan year 2024. And I want to first kind of back up and kind of explain what the Health Insurance Study Committee does. Marion County has 2 health insurance study committees. One is for Marion County Law Enforcement Association. It's our MCLEA group. And then we have all other employees, part of the MC Health Insurance Study Committee. And these committees meet every year quarterly to talk through the current benefit plan offerings, review the renewals and the rates that come in from our benefit consultant, Brown & Brown, and just have discussion about, do they want to make any recommendations to the medical or the dental plan, the plan design, insurance carrier, and whatnot. So So this year, I'll start with the Marion County Law Enforcement Association Health Insurance Study Committee, what their recommendations are. The law enforcement group currently has 2 medical plans that are available to them. They have the Pacific Source PPO plan, Preferred Provider Organization, and a Kaiser HMO option. And then they have 2 dental options, again, one through Delta Dental and one through Kaiser. And MCLEA would like to make a recommendation to keep these plans intact going into calendar year 2024. And then our other health insurance study committee, it's all other employees outside of law enforcement. They currently have 3 medical plans to pick from. They have the PPO through Pacific Source. There is also a high deductible health plan option through Pacific Source that is coupled with a health savings account. And then there's a Kaiser HMO option. For dental, we've got Delta Dental and then Kaiser Dental. And this year it was kind of through more of a collaborative effort with our Health Insurance Study Committee and the board through a work session discussion that took place. And the recommendation we'd like to put forth is to keep our current plans intact going into benefit plan year 2024. So I'm here today to answer any questions, seek your approval on those recommendations as we move forward.
Are there any questions for Lori?
Nope. I appreciate the process that we went through. It was pretty informative. And I appreciate the work that you and your team did.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Cameron, any comments?
Good.
Okay, I'm just going to make a comment. I'm going to abstain from this vote because I thought I support health insurance, but I disagreed with the HISC recommendation on the PPO. I thought we could have gotten a better deal, and I have to take a break. So I'll let you guys manage this vote, and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I think he's tossing it to you as the vice chair.
So you can abstain, but you want to go ahead and call for the vote?
He wants to take
I was going to take a break and have you call for the vote.
Oh, all right. So
I can make the motion to move to approve the Mental Health Study Committee renewal recommendation for the Marion County Law Enforcement Association, the Marion County Health Insurance Plans for year 2024.
I'll second the motion. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And for the record, notice that Chair Willis is not available for the vote.
So the motion passes. Thank you,
All right,
Lori.
I guess I'll keep going here.
Yeah.
Next item is to consider accepting an appeal of hearings officer's decision denying administrative review AR case number 23-007. Austin, welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners.
And Cody.
And Cody.
Are we going to wait for Commissioner Willis to get back?
No.
No?
Keep going.
Sounds good. Alrighty, guys. For the record, Austin Barnes, Marion County Principal Planner. Administrative review case 23-007 was for a primary farm dwelling on a 17.5 acre parcel in an exclusive farm use zone located in the 17,800 block of Boones Ferry Road Northeast, outside of Woodburn. On May 22nd, 2023, the planning director denied the request. On June 6, 2023, the denial was appealed to the hearings officer. On July 20th, 2023, the hearings officer held a hearing, and the record remained open until August 11th, 2023, for additional information. The Marion County hearings officer issued a decision on September 8th, 2023, denying administrative review 23-007. On September 21st, 2023, the hearings officer's decision was appealed to the Board of County Commissioners office with a statement and appropriate filing fee. Staff reviewed the information submitted with the appeal and determined that there was no new evidence being provided, as well as no new argument, and the board is not being asked to make any policy decisions. Staff recommends the board not accept the appeal. There appear to be 3 main issues on this appeal. First, the applicant's attorney argues that the Marion County Land Use Code is vague where it requires a property to not be in violation of a local, state, or federal law unless issuing the land use permit would remedy the violation. This is found in section 17.110.680, the general provision sections of the Marion County Rural Code. They state that this is a violation of ORS 215.416, subsection 8, subsection A, which reads, approval or denial of a permit application shall be based on the standards and criteria which shall be set forth in the zoning ordinance or other appropriate ordinance or regulation of the county, and which shall relate approval or denial of a permit application to the zoning ordinance and comprehensive plan for the area. The applicant's attorney also argued that this section of the Marion County Code is not part of the zoning ordinance. The hearings officer considered this argument and determined that the county code is valid in this situation. The applicant's attorney does not appear to provide any new evidence or argument that the hearings officer didn't consider. Second, the applicant's attorney argues that this decision is in violation of ORS 197.307, subsection 4, which requires that the county, quote, adopt and apply only clear and objective standards, conditions, and procedures regulating the development of housing. The hearings officer considered this argument and found that the Marion County Code was clear and objective. Third, the applicant's attorney argues that the ability of a property to produce income in the future should not be a reason for denial. The hearings officer did not find that a reason to deny the application. She denied it based on the property producing farm income while not having the required irrigation rights and the notice from the state of unlawful appropriation and storage of groundwater. The applicant's attorney does not appear to provide any new evidence or argument related to this issue, such as the property owner has obtained irrigation rights for their farm. There also do not appear to be any policy interpretations the board is being asked to make. Based on this, staff is recommending that the board not accept the appeal. There is still an avenue of appeal available to the applicants where the hearings officer decision could be appealed to the Land Use Board of Appeals. If the board accepts the appeal, the recommended hearing date is November 29th, 2023. And with that, I will stand for any questions you have.
Any questions for Austin?
I don't have any questions.
Austin, what was the section of the code again that talks about violations of state or federal law?
Yeah, so it's called general provisions is the header, but it's section 17.110.680.
Perfect, thank you. Okay. Any questions or comments, Mr. Cameron?
No. Mr. Chair, I'll move that we accept, wait a minute. No. Mr. Chair, I'll move that we accept staff's recommendation to deny the appeal of the hearings officer decision, administrative review, AR case 23-007.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? I guess I would just make a comment. I'm sympathetic to people trying to build houses, and Marion County has, because we're trying to protect our farm and forest ground, we have relatively high bar, and because of the state law for building out EFU land. I'm sympathetic to that. I don't think there's anything vague about our code, so that's why I'm also going to vote to deny the appeal here, because they are in violation of state law, and once they remedy that, I'm sure they can come back and we'd be happy to hear their request. So I'd just like to put that on the record.
Mr. Chair, and they're welcome to go to LUBA, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. They can appeal.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, and now I'm going to open a public hearing to receive testimony regarding the use of a competitive alternative contracting method for the procurement of goods and services for the Marion County Public Safety Radio Communication System project.
Before you start, Commissioners, we all actually are supposed to be somewhere at 11 o'clock with the sheriff. Is it okay with you if we reschedule it? The Church at the Park tour over on Turner Road.
That wasn't on the calendar.
I just let them know I'm going to be there probably closer to 11:30.
Okay. Are you available to do it at 11:30? Yeah, that's fine. Great. Okay. I'm just feeling
texts. I didn't know he was
on
going
that.
with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I thought you weren't.
I'm scheduled for something else.
Let's move.
11:30 it is.
All right, keep going.
Okay.
All right, Brian.
Good morning. I'm Brian Nicholas, Marion County Public Works Director. So I'm flying solo today. I'll provide the staff report for the public hearing. Marion County Public Works requests authorization to use Design Build Project Delivery, a competitive alternative contracting method for design and construction of the Public Safety Radio Communication Systems project. The new system will consist of a countywide P25 Phase 2 trunked radio system, data transport system, and conventional radio overlay system, including the supply, provisioning, and installation of all system components and subscriber radios. The new radio system will be used by the Marion County Sheriff's Office and first responder agencies throughout the county, as well as the Juvenile Department and other county departments. The majority of the project funds consist of American Rescue Act Plan funding, which must be fully obligated by December 31st, 2024, and fully expended by December 31st, 2026. Marion County Public Works contracting rules identify design build as an alternative contracting method and provide detailed procedures for the procurement process. In accordance with Oregon Revised Statute 279C.335, the Board of Commissioners, acting as the Marion County Contracting Review Board, may authorize the use of design build as an exemption to standard low bid contracting procedures for public improvement projects when justified as prescribed in Public Contracting Code. You have the findings for exemption in your packet this morning, and I'll read 5 of the significant findings in that findings for exemption.
Mr. Chair.
Please.
I think, are you combining both action items?
No, this is
the public testimony?
Yeah, this is the staff report for the public hearing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
There's 5 significant findings in that finding for exemption. First, design build will maximize competition because all firms that represent radio equipment manufacturers capable of satisfying the project's performance specifications are qualified to submit responsive proposals. The use of design build will not result in decreased competition and would not likely to result in favoritism in contract award. Second, radio systems are proprietary systems by their nature. Design build eliminates wasted time and expense associated with the development of fully detailed design bid build documents, which would only then be supplanted by the manufacturer's proprietary design. Design build project delivery is the industry norm for these types of projects. Third, design build minimizes the project delivery timeline, which is essential to satisfying the aggressive funding deadlines mandated by ARPA. Fourth, design build minimizes financial risk to the public by placing performance obligations on the radio system manufacturer, the contracting entity best situated to ensure the radio system functions as specified. In low bid procurement, the county would carry that risk. And finally, price will be a significant criterion used during proposal evaluation, scoring, and award to ensure the county does not overpay for the selected system.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Are there any questions for Brian? No?
Anybody signed up?
Yes, we have someone signed up for public comment. So, James Montgomery, are you here? If you would, please come forward and introduce yourself for the record, and yeah, tell us what you're thinking.
Good morning, I'm James Montgomery. I'm employed by Day Wireless Communications.
Pull that microphone close to you.
Make sure the green light's on.
Green light is on.
Perfect.
Heard that enough times today. So I'll repeat my name again, James Montgomery. I work for Day Wireless here out of Salem, Oregon. Not really a comment or question, it's just the purpose of this change is to select one vendor, or is it multiple vendors? I guess that's kind of unclear. And he mentioned price on his stuff, and is that going to be the key factor as far as how a vendor is selected is the question, I guess.
All those are all questions Brian could answer.
Brian, do you want to come back up and kind of talk about the process a little bit?
Yes, I'm happy to answer those questions. Okay, remind me, the first question?
Is the intent to select one vendor or multiple vendors for the entire, I mean, this is a pretty large project, obviously.
Yep. So to maximize the contracting opportunities, we've broken this very large project into 6 project components. So the radio system, the core radio system itself, the P25 main channel system, that's one project component. The backhaul system, the data transport system, is another one. The conventional overlay, radio overlay system, so that's a non-trunked system used for paging and those kind of other, it's a fallback channel, is another project component. The supply of the radios, install of radios, and there's one more project component. They're being advertised and bid under one procurement, but with the exception of 3 of these that fit together, that have to work together, they could be awarded to the highest scoring, best value proposer for any one of those components. And since the radio system, the core radio system, the backhaul system, and the radios that operate on that system all have to work together, those 3 project components will be awarded to a single vendor, but the other ones could be other vendors. So we will be planning to make multiple awards from this one solicitation.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Your second question?
Yes, I think that takes it. The second question was,
He asked about the components of it, and then he asked about the cost.
yeah, the pricing. Is it,
Yes. So price is one component, and when the request for proposals is advertised, this is the final step in being ready to advertise, getting board approval to use an alternative contracting method. We'll be ready to advertise the RFP, so it should be coming out relatively soon. The scoring criteria will be listed in the RFP. There is a technical component, so the ability to comply with the performance criteria that we specify in the procurement spec. That will be one element. Cost is an element, and then the contractor's delivery plan. It has to make sense. You know, we're looking for vendors that know what they're doing, have a record of success in delivering projects, and they have a plan that makes sense on how to deliver these projects so that they get through bench testing, get through deployment, and they function as intended.
so will past proven experience be part of that rating scale?
Well, it will be, that information will be provided in the RFP.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Is that all? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do you have anything else, Brian?
Nope, that's all I have.
Okay. You always like to make a motion to close it and approve at the same time. Do you want to do that?
Well, it's Commissioner Duffy's.
Would you like to close the hearing, or would you like to make a motion to close?
You're the chair.
I'm going to close it. All right, we're going to close this public hearing, and I will take a motion.
You need to enter as contract review board.
Oh, and I have to open meeting of the contract review board. Thank you.
And now, under the Contract Review Board for Public Works, I move to approve an order granting an exemption to allow the use of an alternative solicitation process for the Marion County Public Safety Radio Communication System project and direct Marion County Public Works to issue a competitive bidding solicitation for the project.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes, and I will adjourn this is the Contract Review Board and reopen our Board of Commissioners meeting. We are done with our agenda. Do you have anything else to share? We did a lot of sharing today.
I do just have one thing I want to share about that last motion. Cost is super important to this project. It's going to be a lot of money, and it's taken a lot of time and a lot of, I would say, marrying of different budgets and organizations to get to just even to today. And the taxpayers are footing the bill for this, so we need it to be as affordable but as effective without issue as possible,
Right.
which
Has
is
to
why
work.
I support this unique process that we don't normally do in Marion County government.
Our first responders are literally betting their lives on this system, so it has to work. Okay, anything else?
I would just add to that, I think, you know, the fire that we had, the wildfire we had, and people not being able to communicate, and this is just a really important public safety issue for the citizens of Marion County, and we got to get it right. So I appreciate all the work that Brian and others are putting into it, so thank you.
Okay, with that, we are adjourned.
Danielle, we got to go. So you're going to drive your own car?
I am.
Okay.